Jacko sponsors the National League on BT Sport.
Hello everybody, welcome along to our latest roundup from the Vanarama National League here on BT Sport. The big game of the weekend was here at Crabble, where surprise promotion package Dover Athletic entertained pace setters Cheltenham Town. Here watching with us was the former Dover and England manager Peter Taylor and the former Bolton and England striker Kevin Davies. We'll hear from them in just a little while. Before we have a look at what went on here, here's a little flavour of what else is coming up. Parkin pops up to send Forest Green Rovers temporarily top. Grimsby Town fire 5 in against Altrincham. And relief for Gary Mills as Wrexham end a run of 4 straight defeats. So plenty more to look forward to, but let's get on with the main event. Dover Athletic against Cheltenham Town. Your commentary team, the former Brighton and Celtic defender Adam Virgo and Adam Summerton.
Miller loitering, being watched closely by Bartram. Goalkeeper stayed put this time, and it's a good save as well from Dylan Phillips.
Just pulls away from him there, Parkinson.
Well, here's Modeste, a chance, and it's just wide. What an opportunity for Modeste.
Well, when you go on and win league titles, your goalkeeper makes saves like this time and time again. It's a brilliantly timed run from Modeste.
Early cross in, flicked on by Pell. Oh, and it's only just wide as well. It was the centre half who was forward, Asa Hall.
Again, that's a brilliant ball in. Pell using his height, and the goal was gaping for him.
Devedix opens up for the shot and he drills it. Oh, what a hit! That is absolutely outstanding from Nicky Devedix. You don't stop those. And what a way to open the scoring. He's 11th in the National League this season. You will not see a better strike anywhere this weekend. Rowe in towards right. Oh, he's a little slow to react, and the referee has given a penalty. Cheltenham will have the chance of a reprieve. The foul by Aswad Thomas.
Well, this is where you cannot afford to allow it to switch off for a split second. It's a certain penalty.
Danny Wright already has 10 National League goals this season. Can he make it number 11 here? He can. The goalkeeper guessed the right way, but it had sufficient power on it to beat Rafferty, and Cheltenham Town have levelled things up here in the 88th minute.
Well, this is what happens, Adam. You cannot afford to switch off for a split second, and it was a confident penalty there from Danny Wright.
Holman, and Dayton's up in support as well. Still Holman, and now Dayton. It's a great chance, and it's in! It's another one for Wright. It's 2 in the space of a minute for Cheltenham Town.
Rafferty with the parry. And there is your man of the moment, Danny Wright. Just hoping for a little bit of scrapping around there. Falls to him. And he's never going to miss from that distance. In the space of a couple of minutes, he's going from hoping of getting at least a point to maybe coming away with all 3.
It's hard to keep your heads up. Obviously, it's late on. You go a goal down, but we've got a great spirit in the club, in the team, in the squad, and we've done it time and time again, come from behind and won the game. We've done it against these at home, and yeah, we've got that in our locker, and we're always confident we can, no matter how long left.
For 87 minutes we were the better side, there was no doubt. As I say, talk about when you're at the top, their sub was substituted and he was the chap who got the penalty and hit the crossing for the last goal. So, you know, when you're at the top you get that little bit of luck. We're disappointed, very disappointed, but really pleased with the way we played and acquitted ourselves.
Well, Kevin, I think that encapsulates everything we love about football. 80 minutes of so-so nil-nil draw, and what drama that followed.
Yeah, it's been a couple of great games. I was at Norwich yesterday as well doing the game, and again today another late drama and a great strike to get Dover ahead 5 minutes to go, penalties, late winners, we've had it all, haven't we?
Yeah, I'm wondering what would have been going through Gary Johnson's mind. He probably thought that long unbeaten run was done and dusted.
Yeah, I think he'd have been disappointed with the performance, and so he probably thought this could be the first defeat for a while, and now he's going to go on to another run. But in the end, his players got him out of trouble.
I feel a little bit for Dover Athletic because, you know, they did play very well, and Nicky Deverdik's strike was just astonishing.
It was an unbelievable strike, and we've seen a couple of goal of season contenders for Dover already this season, but that was, I mean, he drove into the space and you just thought he was going to hit this one, and the movement and the power he had on the goal in off the crossbar is a fantastic strike, and you expect them to go on and really win because Cheltenham really were poor up to that point, and unfortunately the mistake for the penalty let Cheltenham back in.
Yeah, I just wonder if maybe Dover get caught up in the euphoria of that goal because it's such a cracker and it's come so late in the game that you switch off both physically and mentally.
Well, you can do that, and that's where you need your captains out there to make sure you don't switch off, because Kevin and myself, we were talking when they scored Dover, and then all of a sudden 5 minutes to go, they 1-0 up, and all of a sudden they got no right back, and Cheltenham nearly got in, and I couldn't really understand that. But that's where they do switch off a little bit.
And the value of an old warhorse of a centre forward in Danny Wright, you know, 55 minutes of his, or 55 seconds even of his life that he will long remember.
Well, it's an amazing minute for him, a really calm penalty from him, and like I said before, he didn't really have a sniff during the game. He was well marshalled by the back three of Dover, but took the penalty well, and then he put himself in a great position to score the winning goal.
Wow. That was so good. More from Kevin and Peter to come, but let's round up all of Saturday's games, starting with Cheltenham's title rivals, Forest Green Rovers, who are at home to Braintree Town. Here's Natalie Quirk.
Forest Green Rovers have been hot on the heels of Cheltenham in recent weeks, stringing together a run of 5 wins in the last 6. They faced a Braintree side who hadn't played a National League game since Boxing Day. The best chance of the first half at the New Lawn fell to Charlie Clough, but he could only head wide. Adi Pennick's men knew victory would take them temporarily top of the table, and they found a breakthrough 7 minutes into the second half. Elliot Frere's pullback found Darren Carter, Michael Crowe palming away the shot, but John Parkin, not for the first time in his career, was on hand to nod home the rebound. Double figures now for Parkin this season. It's been 3 months since Rovers were beaten at home, and soon came an opportunity for Parkin to double the home side's lead. This time the skipper could only volley straight at Crowe. Another Forest Green cross, another Parkin volley, another save from Crowe, the best of the lot from the goalkeeper on loan from Ipswich. Braintree was still in it, and the hosts spurned several opportunities to make the game safe, the best of which came when Frere's cross found Keanu Marsh-Brown, who could only blaze over the bar. But it couldn't spoil a good day for Pennick and his players. 3 points and 4 wins in a row for Forest Green.
Grimsby guarantee goals. Paul Hurst's men had been scoring at a rate of nearly 2 a game prior to the visit of Altrincham to Blundell Park. The visitors had lost 3 of their last 4, a run that has seen them drop into the relegation zone. And it was the worst possible start for Lee Sinnott's side. Just 2 minutes played when Nathan Arnold slipped the ball to Andy Monkhouse, the veteran midfielder scoring his first goal since August. And it was 2-0 before the 20-minute mark. Arnold again with the delivery. Altrincham keeper Tim Deasy couldn't get there, but Omar Bogle could. The striker ending a goal drought that stretches back to October. And it was game over shortly after the break. Porrick Amend crossing for possibly the worst finish of Monkhouse's long career. But in it went to give the home side a 3-0 lead and put the game to bed. The Grimsby goal machine was in full effect. That man Arnold with the corner, a men's header judged to have crossed the line. The Irishman's 21st goal of the season, making him top scorer in the National League. After 3 assists, Arnold completed a fine day's work for him personally as he rounded off the victory, smashing the ball home in stoppage time to seal Altrincham's heaviest defeat of the campaign. After playoff heartbreak last season, Grimsby have their eyes on the prize of automatic promotion this time around.
2 teams with playoff ambitions faced off at the racecourse ground. 2 teams whose form had completely deserted them. Wrexham on the back of 4 straight defeats, Lincoln without a win in 9 matches. It was the visitors who had the chance to draw first blood within the first 15 minutes. Jack Muldoon latching onto the long ball over the top. Goalkeeper Rhys Taylor ruled to have brought Muldoon down, penalty to Lincoln. Matt Reid has been the right man in the right place for Chris Moyes' men this season. Reid coolly converting for his 16th goal of the campaign. Wrexham fought their way back into the game before half-time, the short corner routine paying dividends. Wes York heading the equaliser past Paul Farman, 1-1 at the break. Just 3 minutes into the second half, the home side edged in front. Lincoln unable to deal with Dominic Vose down the left. Farman could only parry the cross straight to captain Connor Jennings. 10 goals this season from midfield for Jennings, making him Wrexham's joint top scorer. And victory was confirmed with 4 minutes to play. Simon Heslop in his second appearance since signing from Torquay, making it 3-1. It's Wrexham's first home win since mid-November, while Lincoln are now on their worst run in nearly 5 years.
Eastleigh's run as the only non-league side left in the FA Cup came to an end in midweek at the hands of Bolton Wanderers. With Chris Todd's team in the playoff places in the National League, they needed to focus on the trip to face a Boreham Wood side battling against the drop. The home side started strongest, Luke Howell finding Billy Clifford, who was ducking and weaving before shooting from an acute angle. Ross Flitney equal to it. The visitors then wasted a great chance to break the deadlock. Jack Midson finding himself onside, much to the bemusement of the Boreham Wood backline, but he could only shoot tamely straight at James Russell. And Eastleigh were made to pay on the stroke of half-time. Jamie Lucas finishing confidently, his 4th goal of the season. Worryingly for manager Luke Garrard, that makes Lucas Boreham Wood's top scorer. It was all Eastleigh after the break. Welsh winger Kaid Mohammed scored his first goal for the club in that midweek defeat to Bolton, but he couldn't find a way past Russell. Just when it was looking like it wouldn't be Eastleigh's day, the breakthrough came in the 92nd minute. Lee Cook's corner turned in by Andy Drury, his 7th of the season, rescuing a point and ensuring Eastleigh are now unbeaten in 6 league matches.
Tranmere Rovers have been on the periphery of the promotion chase this season, but Gary Brabbin's team are now part of the playoff picture after winning 3 of their previous 4 games. The Bromley Arena hasn't been a happy hunting ground for the home side, without a win there in 5 matches. And it was the visitors who almost struck first. A spectacular effort from Jay Harris, bringing the best out of Bromley keeper Alan Julian. Julian was called into action once more when Adam Meckie's set-piece saw James Norwood rise the highest. The goalkeeper again up to the task. After an exhilarating start to the season, the goals have dried up for Bromley's Moses Emmanuel, just 1 in his previous 7. This was a golden chance to give Mark Goldberg's men the lead, one Emmanuel couldn't take. Into the second half, and this time it was Meckie with a sight of goal. Julian again denying Tranmere an opener. But Bromley's keeper was left helpless 10 minutes after the break. Meckie on a purposeful run, and fullback Lee Vaughan, who made his loan move from Cheltenham permanent earlier in the week, scored superbly, his first goal for Tranmere. Bromley's best hope of an equaliser came from a set-piece, but defender Sean Francis could only head over the crossbar. Bromley have failed to score in 4 of their last 7. It's now 4 wins in 5 matches for Tranmere Rovers.
Playoff chasing Macclesfield knew their home form would have to improve if they were to maintain their promotion push. They'd lost their previous 3 matches at Moss Rose as they welcomed Aldershot. In an exciting start to the game, it was the visitors who came closest to opening the scoring. Reece Brown's driving run and shot, well saved by Richie Brannigan. Aldershot continued to press and got their reward after 19 minutes. Dan Walker's pinpoint cross from the right, headed home by on-loan striker Alfie Pavey. Macclesfield responded well though. Some neat footwork from Tony Dean led to a Danny Rowe strike. Phil Smith was equal to it. Again, it was the home side that pushed for an equaliser. Christian Dennis's dangerous ball into the box, met by Dean, but the Frenchman could only fire wide. The pressure from Macclesfield continued, and they almost levelled the match just before the break. Danny Whitehead's curling effort, inches wide of the post. The visitors came out in the second half with much more purpose. Jake Gallagher's mazy run and shot going just over the crossbar. But Aldershot finally sealed all 3 points after 65 minutes. Damien Lathrop's 40-yard free kick spectacularly sailing over the head of the backtracking Brannigan and inflicting more home woe on his team.
Gateshead fans hadn't travelled to an away match in the National League since the 5th of December. They made the 770-mile round trip to Plainmoor, though, to see their side face Torquay, who'd won just twice in their last 24 games. Neil Aspin's side were agonisingly close to breaking the deadlock when Paddy McLaughlin's header almost crossed the goal line, but Darrell Berry was on hand to clear. But it was second time lucky for Gateshead, and they had former Torquay striker Ryan Bowman to thank. Signed in the summer after netting 12 league goals for the club last season, that's now 13 for him in a Gateshead shirt. The closest thing to a regular source of goals for Torquay in this campaign has been Tyrone Marsh, also preventing Marsh from registering his 8th of the season. Gateshead wrestled the initiative back after the break. Danny Johnson will wonder just how he failed to make proper contact and double their advantage. But Gateshead didn't have to wait much longer for a 2-0 lead. CJ Hamilton again a menace down the left, and this time Johnson did find the net to secure all 3 points for Neil Aspin as Torquay remain rooted in the drop zone.
Woking went into their game against Halifax after racking up 9 wins in 11 games and closing in on the playoff places. But Halifax, unbeaten in 8, are a much different outfit under the stewardship of Jim Harvey. The home side made a good start. Giuseppe Sol with that free kick, testing the gloves of Sam Johnson. But despite Woking's early dominance, things took a turn for the worse for them before the half-hour mark. Chris Arthur overrunning the ball and wildly diving in with 2 feet, the referee with no option but to send the defender off. Despite having to play with 10 men, Woking forced their way in front 10 minutes later. Bruno Andrade finishing well after an impressive run from his own half. But that lead lasted only 3 minutes as Woking were undone by a piece of brilliance. Sam Walker's flighted free kick, giving Jake Cole no chance. Woking were unfortunate not to go back ahead in the second half. Matt Robinson's shot deflected onto the crossbar. Halifax did have the chance to steal it late on. Josh McDonald trying to catch Jake Cole out at his near post, but the keeper got down well to save. A draw then at the Kingfield Stadium. Woking remain a point off the playoff places.
2 of the National League's struggling sides met at Parkview Road as Welling faced Barrow. The home side were without a win in 9, while Barrow hadn't won since November. Barrow should have been ahead inside 10 minutes. Colin Cowperthwaite was first denied by Marek Rodak before Simon Grand blazed over. The visitors were made to pay for that miss when Welling won a penalty. Debutant Cadell Daniel bundled over in the box by Andy Parry. Javier Vidal made no mistake in slotting away the spot kick with a little bit of help from the post and Barrow keeper Joel Dixon. Welling almost doubled their lead just moments later. George Porter's cross narrowly missed by the on-rushing Sar Kaba. Barrow have scored in each of their last 12 matches and they open their account from a Danny Pilkinson corner. Danny Livesey rising highest to add the finishing touch. Barrow's dominance continued in the second half and they took the lead on 55 minutes. Some more poor defending from a corner and former Manchester City man Ashley Grimes heading in his first for the season. The goal seemed to spur on Barrow even more and Rodak made a great stop to deny Jordan Williams' turning shot. The game should have been put beyond doubt late on, but striker Andy Cook fired over from close range. A miss he will kick himself for, but an important 3 points for Barrow, which sees them move up to 16th in the table.
Rock-bottom Kidderminster Harriers were in desperate need of 3 points as they faced a Guiseley side making their first ever visit to Agborough. The visitors thought they'd broken the deadlock in the 11th minute. Anthony Dudley capitalising on a mistake by Keith Lowe. The forward squaring to Adam Boyce, whose finish was ruled out for offside. Just minutes later, Guiseley went close again. James Hurst's ball found Gavin Rothery on the edge of the box. His left foot volley sailed just over. It took until the 50th minute for Kidderminster to have their first real effort on goal, and it was some strike. Elton Ungwatala's left foot rattling the woodwork from 20 yards out. The game looked to be heading for a goalless draw before a pivotal substitution. Liam Dickinson replacing Boyce, and just 90 seconds after coming on, the forward volleyed home from a Rothery corner for his 5th goal of the season. Kidderminster suffer their 7th straight defeat. They're now 14 points from safety.
Two teams in very different form met at the Diva Stadium as a Chester side with only one win in 9 welcomed a Southport team unbeaten in 7. Chester started brightly. Ryan Higgins' cross into the box was poorly dealt with by Andrew Challoner, but John Rooney couldn't convert from close range. After the early scare, Southport settled and found their rhythm in the second half. Luke Foster with the chance to open the scoring after some poor defending, but he shot straight at keeper John Warsnap. Southport continued to search for an elusive opener. This time the opportunity fell to the head of Mike Phoenix, but Warsnap was defiant once again. The game should have been settled in the 65th minute. Higgins' long-range strike was spilled by Southport keeper Max Crocombe, but somehow Ross Hanna fired over with the goal at his mercy. How this game remained goalless, we'll never know.
So Cheltenham 2 points clear at the top of the table, having been ousted temporarily 24 hours earlier. Eastleigh up to 4th, and keep an eye on Tranmere Rovers, 4 wins out of 5 and only 2 points off the playoffs. There was hardly any movement in the bottom half of the table, although Aldershot are up a couple of places after that surprise 2-0 win at Macclesfield. For the clubs in the relegation places, though, it is as you were. How do you see the top of the table now, Kevin Davis?
Oh, it's interesting, isn't it? I think for me, the champions are going to come from that top 3 as it is now. I can't see Eastleigh and the other teams really closing in on them now, so I think it'll come from one of those 3. It's going to be an interesting sort of climax to the season, and obviously I think anyone in that top half will probably think now they've got a chance of really catching the likes of Dover. It was 8 points separating them. It's doable, so I think there's lots to play for, lots of games to play.
Can you take us into the mind of a manager, because you've been in this position many times with promotion campaigns and getting over the line? What will be going through the minds of Forest Green Rovers and indeed Grimsby Town when they are up against a juggernaut like Cheltenham Town with that unbelievable unbeaten run?
I still think they'd fancy their chances. I still think they're turning up for work every morning and enjoying it because they're having a good season. So I think they'll have a good spirit. So I think it'll be a positive dressing room in both those. And so I still think they'll be hoping, you know, maybe it could be a case of, look, they nearly slipped up against Dover. They can slip up. We've got to make sure that we keep getting the points and keep getting the goals.
And will they be expecting Cheltenham to have a little blip? We've seen it across, you know, the Premier League, the Football League, you know, teams reach the top of the table. I'm thinking Middlesbrough, then suddenly lose 2 in a row. They'll hang their hat that might happen to Cheltenham.
Yeah, I think the division's a good standard, so I think they would also be confident that Cheltenham won't carry on unbeaten. I think that you know, I think they would probably feel as though that could happen. So that, you know, to me, if I was Forest Green, if I was Grimsby, I'd be saying, come on, we can do this.
But the boost that Cheltenham Town will take out of their game today will just permeate for weeks and weeks.
You seen them after the game there. It's almost like they won the cup. I mean, it's an amazing feeling it was almost a smash and grab, wasn't it, really? Because it wasn't a good performance. Gary said that himself. Dover deserved to at least get a draw, really, but they can really galvanise you, and they're on a great run. They kept it going. If they'd have lost that one, they'd have to pick themselves up. They've got a lot of games. They've got the fixture pile-ups, 1 or 2 injuries here and there. So it's going to be interesting, I think, to see it, to see the way it plays out. But it's going to be great for the league, and it's great to see so many teams still have a chance of winning it.
I think it's really nice for a manager to have to say to the players, look, we dropped our standard today, but we still got 3 points. And I think then you can get your points over in a probably more positive way.
Fellas, thank you very much. Thanks to you for watching. Do hope you've enjoyed it. We'll see you again soon.
Jacko sponsors the National League on BT Sport.